Hey, I'm Jesse Broadwater.
And I'm Chelsea with the Pink Arrow Project.
Join together with us and other passionate archers from all around the globe
in the Taking Aim at Cancer Challenge 2018 to defeat cancer in my lifetime.
This is Greg Poole with Bowjunky Media, bowjunkymedia.com. We're at the 2018 London KY ASA. Let's take a moment and look at the competitors in our Senior Pro Shootdown.
Tony Taza, Boswell, Pennsylvania.
Jeff Hopkins from Lacona, Iowa.
Scott Darnell, Bismarck, Arkansas.
All right, everybody, this is Greg Poole at Bowjunky Media, bowjunkymedia.com. We're here at the 2018 ASA in London, Kentucky. This weekend's coverage is brought to you by Easton Arrows. I'm here with my esteemed colleague, Elite Pro Staff Manager Darren Christianberry. It's time for the seniors.
It is. I'm curious about this one because I think Tony Taza, seasoned veteran, he won the IBO last weekend.
He did.
Did he? No, Dwayne Price won in Appling.
Oh, yes.
At the ASA.
In Appling he won, but Tony has, and I was actually talked to Tony in his interview, and he's actually kind of was lurking sometimes this year, and when guys would make mistakes, he snuck right in there and got some victories. But we do have a battle of some senior titans right here with Tony Taza and Jeff Hopkins.
For sure, and then John Clifton, I shot with him in the team event the other day, said he's been practicing a bunch. Scott Darnell's won this year, and Brian Jones, he's as good a shooter as anybody.
Absolutely. So it's going to be curious. I saw Jeff Hopkins has been shooting a lot better, walking a lot better this particular event. I did talk to Jeff today, and he actually said that he built this bow new. Same bow, it's a Hoyt Prevail 40, but he said it aims so much better than his other Prevail.
Bows definitely have different personalities.
And he doesn't know why.
Huh.
So here we go, Tony Taza on the heavy. 10 for Tony Taza.
I can attest to that. Different bows aim different. I agree. I think exact same bow measured out, they can perform different.
Yep, no doubt about it. Here we go, Jeff Hopkins with an 8. That's not going to be what Jeff's looking for right off the bat.
What he's wanting.
So here we go, John Clifton on the turkey. With a 10 for John. Scott Darnell, who came out and won, I believe it was Foley.
Yes.
Right off the bat.
For sure.
Shooting his PSE. With a 10. Upper 12 call on the Russian boar, and that's going to be an 8. So not quite the blistering start we were looking for out of the senior pros, but let's go to the PSE leaderboard. All right, Darren, here we go. This is arrow number 2 in the Senior Pro here in London, Kentucky. This weekend's coverage brought to you by Easton Archery. Not a very quick start.
A couple of them have some adjustments to make on their yardage sheets right now.
On something, yes, for sure. So, we were looking for quite the battle there between Tony Taza and Jeff Hopkins, but Tony shoots a 10 right off the bat, and Jeff shoots an 8. So now we have a 3-point differential there.
Yeah, Jeff helped Tony a little bit right there, and these other guys didn't capitalize.
And I'll bet you that Jeff gets a little bit aggressive on that turkey right there.
He might.
That arrow looks a little bit high, so he's not going to miss the yardage by that far.
He's
so
not
you know what
scared.
That
I know that.
Scott Darnell with a 10. We've yet to have a bonus ring.
Not yet. It's coming soon.
10 for John. So here we go. Jeff Hopkins on the turkey. Looks like his arrow is a little bit high. So
it's definitely above lower 12.
Correct.
I can't see it from here.
And I'm sure it's on purpose. So here we go. Jeff Hopkins. Does it pay off? And it does. Jeff Hopkins with a
Wow.
14 on the turkey, so that's going to be just what he needed to do there.
There's the bonus
after
ring
shooting
we were
that-
looking
That's
for.
correct, after shooting that 8. So here we go. Tony Taz on the Blesbuck. And a 10. So there we have a lead change as we talk about it.
That's what the
So here-
14 ring is for.
That is correct. So here we go, Brian Jones on the Havy with a 10. So that 14 from Jeff Hopkins right there is going to put some movement on the PSE leaderboard. Let's check it out. All right, Darren, here we go. This is arrow number 3 in the senior pro class here at the London KY ASA. This weekend's coverage brought to you by Easton. We had some movement.
Yes, Mr. Jeff Hopkins shot a 14 on the turkey and is now sitting in first place by 1 point.
And who's right behind him shooting the turkey now?
Mr. Tony Taza, and I predict he's going to try to match Jeff. I don't think Tony will lay up here.
He almost has to,
I would think.
because Jeff is shooting the long deer here, but I wouldn't suspect he's going to go for a 14 again. But
Tony might wait and see what he does here to see what he needs to do, too. There you go.
there you have it right there. That looks like a little bit low of an arrow there from Jeff.
I think Tony's pretty well focused on his game, though. I don't think he knows what Jeff shot there.
It's going to be interesting to see what Tony does. I mean, shooting that 14 looks like it's a little, that's not going to be a lower 12 shot by Tony, but not sure if it's going to be high enough to get a 14.
We'll see what happens here.
Scott Darnell holding for a good long time down there on that Havy. There you go. That high let off on that PSE allows him to sit there for all day, doesn't it?
He had 20 seconds left. I thought he was going to use it all.
Right? And a 12
Well,
for Scott Darnell.
That sure paid off
There's
for
another
him.
bonus ring there. Absolutely. So Brian Jones got a little bit of a high arrow right there. A 14 for Brian Jones on
Wow.
the Blesbuck. Now they're heating up, Darren.
That's cool to see that.
So here we go. This is going to be the telltale arrow right here, I think. Tony Taza. Is he going to match? No, an 8. That's going to be a huge swing right there,
Yeah,
Darren.
that puts him at a 450. So let's see what Jeff's got.
If Jeff shoots an 8 here too, that's going to be a gift.
For sure. Yeah, Jeff could have really capitalized on Tony's
And
mistake.
an 8 for Jeff
He
Hopkins.
does.
Jeff Hopkins looks over at the leaderboard with that look on his face like that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, because he just now still has a 1 point lead.
Yep.
Kept Tony in it.
10 for Clifton. So there we go. So Jeff Hopkins is now flipped the script, leads by 1. Let's go to the PSE leaderboard. All right, here we go. This is arrow number 4 in the senior pro division here at the London KY ASA. Here with Elite Pro Staff Manager Darren Christianberry. This weekend's coverage brought to you by Easton Archery. We've had some bonus rings start to drop here. We've actually had some swip swapping up at the top.
Yeah, like you said earlier, the script has flipped. You know, Jeff took the lead. Tony's 1 point behind. The guys that were in 3rd and 4th are only 3 points out of the lead now. So it's still wide open, anybody's ball game.
Absolutely, and Jeff Hopkins shoots a 14 on the turkey, and Tony Taza right behind him shoots an 8. So huge,
swing on that one
huge gift
target.
right there. But then on the next target, Jeff shoots an 8 as well. Gives it right back.
Yes, for sure.
Jeff Hopkins on the 10. Tony's going for it on the large
Good
deer.
looking arrow.
12 for Tony Taza. Like I was saying, you don't want to give Tony Taza too many opportunities.
He just took the lead back.
Yep, absolutely.
That's a high arrow.
Yep, here we go. 8. 8 for Brian. I'll tell you what, we have some shot of the shoot down material with Jeff Hopkins shooting that 8 on that deer because he really could have closed it out.
He
right
could
there.
have.
10 for Scott. So here we go on the heavy. 10 for John. All right, so let's go back to the PSC leaderboard and check it out. All right, Darren, here we go. This is arrow number 5 in the Senior Pro. We've had a lot of movement at the top of the leaderboard there. Jeff Hopkins took the lead with a 14, then shot an 8 to give it back. Never give Tony Taza the room to come back into it because now we're right back where we started.
Yeah, Tony 12 the long deer there and took the lead back, so this last arrow is going to really set the table for the 6th and final arrow.
No doubt about it, and Jeff Hopkins is on the javelina. What's Tony Taza going to do here on the... I don't know if Tony called upper 12. That arrow looks a little high.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They got those off pretty quick.
I got to tell you, with the sun coming out, Darren, it has got
It's hot.
incredibly muggy.
Yeah, these guys are baking out there, I'm sure. That means more storms are coming.
Correct. Jeff Hopkins on the heavy. They're looking hard.
Oh, breeze feels good.
8 for Jeff Hopkins. That's not going to be what you need to do with Tony Taza.
No.
That's going to really force. That's really going to force Jeff to basically shoot for something big in the 6th
He's
arrow.
probably going to have to if he wants to win.
10.
10 for John.
10.
A couple of mistakes there let these other guys. They're
Climb.
they're in the game.
Yes. So here we go. Brian going for with a 5. That's our first nickel of the Senior. Shoot down. So here we go. Tony Taza, who has the opportunity right here. Upper 12 call with a 10. So a 10 for Tony Taza. So going to kind of expand on that lead a little bit there for Tony Taza. Let's go to the PSC leaderboard and check it out. All right, Darren, here we go. 6th and maybe final arrow in the Senior Pro Division here at the London KY ASA. This weekend's coverage brought to you by Easton Arrows. The Darren I'm referencing, of course, is the man, the myth, the legend, elite pro staff manager, Darren Christianberry. Who do we got up first here?
This is John Clifton. This is an expensive arrow because him and Scott Darnell are tied on bonus rings and everything. So this is for a podium spot here. So this arrow means quite a bit.
Looks like he's bearing down on it.
He called an upper 12.
I don't know if that's going to get there.
I don't believe if it's high enough, but I think he did get double digits.
All right, John Clifton with a 10 for John Clifton. That's at least going to put a little bit of something
That
on
shrunk
Scott Darnell.
Yeah, that shrunk the 10 ring a little bit for Scott. So,
But also, if Scott hits a bonus ring here, then that pretty much, gives him the opportunity. The real question for me is look at Jeff Hopkins. I mean, those guys had crawled their way back up, silent killers there to be with only 1 point of Jeff.
Yeah.
So Jeff's not really just shooting to catch Tony now.
No, he's trying to maintain. So that's why I said this is an expensive arrow. So if he 12s it, and then Jeff shoots a 10, he takes second place.
Exactly. I mean, and that's, folks, that's one of the things about 3D archery. is there can be a lot of movement, and the strategy involved is a lot more than people think.
And sometimes the archers don't know. It goes so quick while you're out there that you don't have time to do the math, and you're like, oh, I should have, or oh, I shouldn't have. Sometimes it's hard to make the right decision.
All right, here comes Scott Darnell. Now, you were making some comments about this target that they've chosen for the 6th arrow as well.
I've never seen the hill country in a shoot down ever. This is the old fallow deer just painted brown, and I don't believe we've ever shot it.
Interesting. And a 10 for Scott Darnell.
So they're still tied.
So they will be shooting a closest to center arrow for 3rd.
Depending on what Jeff does here.
Correct. Now, just to explain real quick, let everybody know out there, look, even though these are Delta McKenzie targets and they make a whole bunch of them, the ASA can't choose from a whole bunch of them. They can't just throw anything they want out there. So kind of explain how that works.
I think they can.
I think there's only like 20 or 40.
Yeah.
So
20 that the ASA shoots, yeah.
Yeah,
But
explain that part.
yeah, they do make several targets, but we have 22 because we alternate the black bear, brown bear, and we alternate the black cat and the cougar. So, but we normally shoot the same targets, but they are mixing it up more often now.
Okay, so there's only 22 approved targets.
Yes.
And generally they use the same ones for the shoot down, and an 8 for Jeff Hopkins.
Wow.
So that will basically, like throwing something like this out there, archers just aren't used to seeing it in the shoot down.
Totally different target.
Yes,
totally
absolutely.
different target.
So here we go. What's Tony Taza need to do here to win? Pretty much just shoot an 8.
If he shoots an 8, he wraps it up. Jeff just shot himself off the podium with that 8 right there.
Yes, he did. That's unfortunate.
He's not going to be happy with that.
That's unfortunate for Jeff Hopkins. He was in the running, but look, Tony Taza, he made one little mistake, one little stumble for that 8, but other than that, he just doesn't give him up.
Nope, just business as usual. Keep him in double digits, and now he just needs an 8 to take the win.
Looks like a pretty solid arrow there.
He may have 12'd it.
Right? Just for good measure.
Yeah, take that, boys. You got
10 for Tony Taza. So Tony Taza is going to be your 2018 Senior Pro ASA London champion.
Looks like we're going to have a 1 arrow shoot off for 2nd and 3rd place. We still don't have a clear winner. John and Scott are still tied on score and bonus ring, so they're going to pick a 7th and probably, hopefully, final arrow here to see who we can get a victor.
A yet to be shot arrow here to finish up this round. Tony Taza is our victor, but we have a couple more guys that got to figure something out.
Yeah. John came in 3rd. Scott came in 4th. These guys managed to knot it up after the 6th arrow, tied on score and bonus ring. So to break a place is normally broken by bonus rings, but since they're tied across, we have to have a 1 arrow close to the center shoot off.
That's it. And unfortunately for Mr. Jeff Hopkins, he shot himself off the podium.
He did. He was right there, and unfortunately, it doesn't take much. It's fractions of inches in this game, and he shot an 8 there on the final arrow and bumped him down to 4th place.
Yep. So here we go, Scott Darnell. Now this is, folks, like Darren said, this is closest to center. This is not. Oops. That's probably not going to be closest to anything. I don't know what happened there. So here we go. They're going to actually get out the ruler, which we've not. I don't think I've ever seen that.
A lot of new things on that hill country.
Right. So that was a bit of a low arrow there. So here we go. So now basically all John needs to do is basically shoot an 8.
Yeah, and I mentioned briefly there just a second ago, they're shooting the exact same target, and Don just set the stake a few yards closer. So I thought it would be really easy to get that number.
Right. Right.
We'll see if John's got it figured out.
Well, and
there.
that was that's a good idea on Don's part. We're going to closest to center, so actually make kind of give him a little familiarity there. But
sure,
didn't look like Scott.
I know he wasn't happy with where that arrow hit. I'm surprised to see that.
Yeah, here we go.
John's taking another peek. It looks like getting settled in there.
There you go.
That'll do it.
So John Clifton's going to be your second place finisher. Scott Darnell will be 3rd, and Tony Taz is your victor. This is your men's Senior Pro shot of the shoot down.
It was multiple shots by Jeff Hopkins, I think. Jeff shot a 14 to take the lead over Tony. He then shot an 8 to give the lead back to Tony, and then Jeff shot an 8 on his final arrow, which took him completely off the podium and let Tony cruise to the victory.
No doubt about it. And even though Tony came into this with a 1-point lead, he did surrender that lead. But just in typical, Tony Taza fashion, he just hung in there, kept doing what he needed to do, and Jeff ended up handing it to him. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you again. It's Greg Poole here at Bowjunky Media. We're with your senior pro, London ASA Senior champion. Again, it's Tony Taza, man. Great job out there.
Thanks, buddy.
That was a pretty interesting shoot-off. When Jeff hit that 14 on the turkey there, we were really thinking you were going to follow that up. You shot an 8, which basically gave him we thought that was it, but then what did you think when he followed it up with an 8 on that deer to give it right back?
Well, if I'd have known he was going to do that, I wouldn't have gone for the 14. But you never know.
Right.
And I felt like almost everybody was going to hit the turkey, so I thought I had to do it to keep pace. And it ended up not costing me. So a couple other good shots pulled me through it. So
Awesome. Congratulations, bud.
thank you very much.